Hello, I am Break the Rank, and this is the very first episode of Guess the Rank TFT, a series where I'll be reviewing your submitted games and guessing your rank. That's pretty much it. We'll laugh, we'll cry, but most importantly, we'll learn. So for this very first game, I just decided to spectate a friend whose rank from last season I don't know. But just to make things harder, I'm following along with a completely random person from this lobby, so I know nothing about them whatsoever. If you want to submit your own games for future videos, all of that information is down below, but I'll go a bit more into the process toward the end of the video. A little about me while we wait for this first augment selection. I have been playing TFT since around set 6, but I really just started pushing last season and hit around like 450 LP and NA. So I really want to push for Grandmaster or even Challenger this season, but we'll see what happens. Maybe with your help, I can get there. So looking at Just Nobody here, it looks like they have a pretty strong board early on here. A lot of upgraded units, but no real synergies whatsoever. We'll see if they are able to do anything with that. It is going to be an Annie lobby, so all gold augments, nothing crazy, you would think. But this one's going to be a bit of a banger. So for this very first augment choice, Vanguard Crest I think is terrible. Spear's Will is like maybe okay. You could make a Shojin on Seraphine, but I don't love it. Epoch's not bad, honestly. They rerolled everything here, and they take worth the wait and hit a Seraphine too. So they now have 6 Seraphines. They're like way ahead of tempo here. Actually, this should be pretty interesting. They'll hit Seraphine 3 really early, and then maybe even go for a Seraphine 4. So this could be cool. Let's see. This probably isn't how I would have played 2-1, but there's nothing telling me here that this should be like a, I don't know, weird lobby or anything like that. The positioning of Seraphine is a little odd here. Normally, I think you want to put her in a corner to maximize how many units you're going to hit during the fight, but they're just kind of putting it in the middle. I don't know, maybe this is some dark tech, I don't know, where if they're like left or right, you still hit the backline more consistently, which is possible, but I'm not super sure that's what they're doing here. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I think I did a lobby scout here. So yeah, let's see. We have someone playing Nitro, slamming with either Rengar or Z items. Someone with just like some Tempo Vanguard, Anima Squad. No idea what that person's playing. Got this Cup Purse, so we know somebody else is playing Executioners for sure. They have a pretty strong start just because that augment is broken. But let's see what happens. So I think I was just going back here to see what this person is playing, but yeah, 2 trick, hit some Vanguards. So our person, Just Nobody, is losing here to Shaco. Unfortunately, they don't have any items to slam on this upgraded Seraphine, so the board is still going to be like pretty weak, but they just natural 2 more Seraphines that have Seraphine 3 on 2-3. Okay, this is kind of crazy. I don't know that I would have sold my frontline there just for Anima Squad. I don't think Anima Squad 3 is like that big of a deal. But honestly, it is more damage. The only thing is like your frontline is pretty pathetic now. So unfortunate, but maybe we win a fight. Even if we lose, we get Carousel Prio, so it's not the worst thing ever. Here on Carousel, I'm probably looking for like anything that can go on my Seraphine. I think the 2 best items would probably be either Shojin or Adaptive. I don't love a blue buff just because she has a pretty high mana cost, so I don't think it's like super effective on her. But let's see what they do here. So their sword is gone instantly, so you can't get Shojin, and they're actually gonna go for blue buff. So I don't think it's like the worst option ever. You could eventually move it to like a Yumi or somebody else in the comp. Um, but yeah, don't love it just because like yeah, her mana is 60. I think with blue buff you want like around like 40 or less mana. At the most maybe like 50 for it to be really effective. But this should be fine. It's still like a full item on Seraphine and will make you pretty strong for the rest of stage 2. So it's all good. And I would really actually like to level here. I feel like you want to play to win. The the rest of this round. Like, you have really good tempo. There's nothing you really want on level 4. Like, the only thing would maybe be like Zyra if you're playing like a Seraphine Zyra reroll, but you have 0 Zyras, and I think you're probably better off just pushing levels and either playing Anima Squad or even Vertical Techie, I think is fine. So this person, they just want to stay level 4, I guess. It's all good. Yeah, level 5 here, you could probably just put in like a Bastion, you could put in any kind of front line really, and you probably guaranteed win any fight with the Seraphine 3. But let's see. So we're up here against a Nitro team that actually looks really strong. Can Seraphine 3 beat this? I doubt it. I think it's just gonna get through the front line too fast. Yeah, that front line is like wet newspaper right now. Like, I don't know. You can't really do much about that. So maybe a level would have made the diff here, but honestly, I don't even know that it would have. So this is totally fine. They're still gonna make like pretty good econ here, be able to push levels, hopefully just get a really strong board in for stage 3 and tempo out of that. But let's see what they do. They're holding both Techie and Anima squads, so kind of flexing between the two right now, which I think is fine. Still don't have the Seraphine cornered, which is, I don't know. This might be some tech, I don't know. So I'm not gonna hate on that. This person could be honestly like GM challenger. Kinda doubt it given the blue buff slam, but you never know. Here, JG I think is like totally reasonable. The only thing is you still have a sword open, but I think JG is probably way better than like a gunblade in this spot. Like, you just need some damage on your board, so I'm totally fine with this. And they do go at least to level 5 here, and we're going to be fighting like a hulked out street demon board. Sorry, I think that's a visual error from spectating. For whatever reason, it turns street demon units into the Hulk. So that's what we're up against here. And here's our second round of augments. I don't think it's ever held as wealth. Long distance pals, like maybe if you wanted to like duo carry, I don't know, like Brand or what's her name? The 5-cost Anima Squad girl, Aurora. But that's like so far off that I don't think it makes a lot of sense here. Crown Guarded I don't love, but it is some tempo and it is some frontline, which we do need, so I wouldn't hate if he took it. Magic Roll is also fine. Glass Cannon was okay, but they take all that shimmers, which is an interesting choice. I think it's fine if you want to make like a third item for Seraphine, either Gambler's Blade or Collector, but they actually just take a Mogul's Mail here, which one I think is the worst gold collection item in the game. I'm pretty sure of that. And then 2, you don't even have an upgraded frontline to put it on, so the chance that this procs is relatively low, and I think it's just like pretty low value overall. So I'd say this is maybe like the first like really questionable decision here. It makes me think like this game might be diamond or below, but you never know. Maybe they just really highly value Mogul's Mail and know something that I don't. I would like to level to 6 here and like roll a little bit just to hit some upgrades on your board. Like, even like one upgraded frontline is great. He does hit, but they're rolling on 5 for some reason. I don't think there's any reason to roll on 5 really. Like, there's not a single 1 cost in the game that I think you want here, and definitely nothing that's like more important than 3-4 costs that you could hit on level 6. So I think maybe they're just doing it to save econ, but not super sure. They're still not making 50 here, so a little bit of questionable decision. Okay, they do decide to make 50, and it does look like they're maybe playing toward more of a techie line here. They have all the techies in, don't have a frontline trade in still, so you have like a techie and a Bastion and a Vanguard. So that's a little bit interesting. You're not really empowering your frontline, but all good. Here, I think I would probably go for Bow or Rod. I still don't think Gunblade is like the best item, but it's reasonable slam, and you definitely want to play tempo at this part of the game. Just given you have like so many upgrades compared to the rest of the lobby, and they do finally go 6 here, and put in a second Braum. They could just put in Silas here, which gives them Vanguard and empowers like the Braum too, which I think would be better. So I think this is a little bit of a questionable decision as well. But you know what? It's fine. They also don't slam here, which it looks like they're going to win the fight anyway. So it doesn't matter too much. I think if the fight looks losable, you should definitely slam Gunblade. But greeting the components here is not terrible. It's unlikely that anybody else has a board as strong as this. And they do put in Vanguard here. So I like that at least. And we're going to go ahead and drop Silas, which is totally fine. And you can see that they are holding these Seraphines. So most likely we will be going for Seraphine for this game. And I think it could be reasonable to hit. I don't know how good Seraphine 4 is, but I don't mind going for it here. Like, I think Seraphine 3 is like a reasonably strong unit. It falls off at some point, but maybe Seraphine 4 just keeps him relevant for the rest of the game. So we'll hopefully get to see that later this game. And we do beat another board here. It was actually kind of a close fight, but it works out. We got to save our components, didn't have to slam a Gunblade, and hopefully now we can get like a 3-item Seraphine, 3-item tank, and be pretty happy. And yeah, it kind of looks like they're leaning more into the techie line here. I think I might prefer Anima Squad, just generally. I think it's like a stronger line unless you have a +1, but techie, it's fine. If you can go like 8 techie or even like 6 techie with a reasonable front line, I think is okay. Here, you already have anti-heal, so it's never Morello's. I don't mind like Death Cap or even just like, what's it called? Giant Slayer. I think those are both like totally reasonable items here. But you definitely want to get a 3rd item on Seraphine. It looks like they might not. I don't want to make Nashors just because you want to save this belt for frontline. Like, you are definitely lacking in frontline right now. And it looks like we're going up against like another like relatively weak board. Like, this should be winnable. Oh, never mind. That is a Viego that I could not see because it is hulked out. So we do lose another fight here, which might have been different with a 3-item Seraphine, but I'm not so sure. Here, Overheal doesn't really make any sense. Bronze for Life doesn't make sense. We have Ascension, Piercing Lotus. I don't like Gold Ascension just because it has no value for the majority of the fight. So I think it's totally reasonable to take Immovable Object here. It also makes your frontline a little bit better, which you're lacking in. And let's see what they do end up picking. So after much deliberation, it looks like they will be going with the Immovable Object, so get a Randuin's, but they do put it on their main tank. I guess it's okay because you don't have a 3rd tank item right here, and it gives like 150 HP. That's like pretty much it to the holder, but it's fine. I personally, I wouldn't want to have to waste a remover on this later, so I'd probably just put it on some secondary unit, but it's not the end of the world. This is okay. We do win another fight here, but still are holding 5 components on the bench. I think at this point I could confidently say that this game is definitely a diamond or lower, maybe even emerald or lower. I feel like any player above that is probably just going to slam items to slam items. Unless you're like super loose streaking in stage 2 and 3, you pretty much always want to have like 3 components or less on your bench at any given time. And by stage 4, you definitely shouldn't be holding a bunch of open components. It's just gonna make your board a lot weaker. You'll lose like a bunch of random fights that you maybe shouldn't have, and things could definitely get a bit suspicious. So here we're losing to a guy who has Renekton. It looks like he actually has a Call to Chaos cash out with, I guess, 5 different emblems. And honestly, they're looking pretty strong. This person's kind of cooking. Maybe we'll get more into that later. So here, I'm not really sure what they're going for. I don't hate another tier. Like, you can still get a Shojin. Alright, that's gone. I don't mind a tank item here, like a what's it called, a Warmogs or a Sunfire. I don't know. I think they already have Sunfire, so like a Warmogs. But it looks like they end up going for Cloak, which is going to probably be a Spark, which gives them Shred, which is actually good. They don't have any Shred yet, so totally reasonable. I still want to make some third item on Seraphine here. Like, I think GS just makes a lot of sense because you need to get rid of this sword somehow. And it's unlikely that you're going to get a Shojin at this point. But yeah, they do go ahead and make that Spark. Gonna have a 3-item Braum here, and he'll be printing a little bit of gold, hopefully. He is just 2 Vanguard still. We do have 6 Techie, 2 Vanguard. And we have pushed to level 8. So I think our ideal board would probably look like something like a Leona, Silas frontline, and either, I don't know. If you can't really go for a Techie without the emblem because you have to hit Viego and then your board just becomes really weak. But if you go just 6 Techie with 2 Vanguard, I don't know if that's that much better. You'd at least have like the Mordekaiser and Shyvana for some frontline. But I don't know, this comp is a bit of a cook, so this isn't something I've seen before, and not something I would recommend playing, but it's definitely interesting, and it's doing something. How healthy are we right now? We're at 41 HP, so sitting at about like 4th place in the lobby. Gonna lose another fight here, drop to 29, so we're like 2-3 lives now. But we are only 3 rounds from this Seraphine 3, and we just passed on an Aurora. I think Aurora is like by far the strongest unit in the game right now, and I think it would just like fit on this board. You'd probably just drop to like 4 Techie, play like Aurora plus another Anima squad, get 3 Anima squad in, and just start itemizing your Aurora, throwing in something from the bench. It would be really strong. It also looks like we're going for a Braum 3 here, which I don't think makes any sense. Braum just doesn't have any synergies other than Vanguard. I think he's kind of like a mid tank, honestly, compared or outside of Syndicate. But if you, I'm pretty sure just like a Leona 2 is stronger. But maybe they identified that Leona was like super contested in this lobby or something like that, and just want to make sure they can hit something here. And I think I'm just doing a quick lobby scout here, seeing what people are playing. Looks pretty much the same as what it's been since the start of the game. We do win around here. We do get a Shojin on Seraphine, so it's actually casting pretty often now. We've got Shojin, Blue Buff, JGE. Honestly, not terrible. And then we have the just a couple items on a brand 1 secondary. So, and we're 1 round away from the Seraphine 4. So now we'll see if this thing can pop off and carry the rest of the game. 2 people are already dead here, and it's not too far from a top 4. So, I don't know, I've been talking shit, but maybe this person's about to cook. We're up against a pretty like decent Anima squad board. A lot of their units are 1-starred, but they have Vayne 3. It only has 1 item though, so it looks like we're gonna beat this. Yeah, we actually roll over this board, which is a little bit surprising, but yeah, maybe this board has something to it, and I just don't know what I'm talking about. And we do finally get the Seraphine 4. So I don't know if I've ever seen this unit before, but it's like a big AoE wave that's going to be going across the board. It can't be too bad. I think this could be pretty strong, and I don't know if it'll win out the lobby, but I feel like it should place like decently well. We are already a top 4 here actually, so we're up here against a guy who has trapped his Renekton and has her running back and forth for the entire fight. Surely we beat this. It's only a Renekton 1 as well. It's also interesting is this person has a rapid fire emblem but hasn't put it on Renekton. I think that might be his best emblem, just because he starts casting so fast and he can do it like safely in the back. It ends up pretty strong, but I think otherwise their setup is like reasonable. We do just go for a brand with a Shojin here, which I think makes a lot of sense. We're going to get a 3-item brand and be pretty close to hitting a brand 2, which actually spikes our board like pretty hard. We'll have secondary damage, a lot of AoE on the board, should be pretty good. We're up against a strategist amp board with, looks like, yeah, 3-item Annie. We have a Zeri Nitro board, pretty standard. They do have a Viego on it though, but they are still just Zeri 1, but it looks like they might be pushing level 9 or 10. I don't know. They had a lot of money. So here we are up against the Nitro Zeri board. Let's see how we do against it. It looks like we're doing pretty well. Yeah, just against like Viego 1, Zeri 1, yeah, they don't have a chance. I think even, this probably would have even beat Zeri 2, but maybe not a Viego 2. And I see that we're holding wards here. I think I would personally prefer to go and like push level 9, get some like 5 costs on the board, try to cap out the board. But yeah, I don't know if this more 3 makes a lot of sense. I do understand like wanting more frontline here, but I just don't know if that's going to be our strongest cap, and we're also still like so far away from it. Here we are against, oh, it's actually a strategist reroll. They rerolled Echo and LeBlanc. I don't think I've ever seen that before. And it's looking not too strong. Oh, wait, they might actually win this. Oh, no. Okay. So we just barely beat it. That board looked interesting, though. LeBlanc 3, it's not something you see super often. People usually just play her to get the Cypher cash out. But she might be like a decent unit. Maybe like if they buff her next patch, I could definitely see that. But yeah, we're 5 streaking here actually, just off the Seraphine 4, Braum 3. This person is definitely an innovator. I've never seen a comp like this before, and it seems to be working out pretty well for them right now. Okay, so we're gonna get a better item on brand. Just move the Gunblade over to Fiddle. I think that's totally fine. We're still rolling down here for a Mord 3, which I am not a big fan of, but I can kind of understand where they're coming from there. So here we are. We're up against this Renekton. They have Renekton 2 now, but they are still trapping it like super at the back. This might be winnable just off of that. No, I think our Braum is just gonna fall over too fast. Yeah, so we just don't have any like frontline synergy really, which I think is the reason that we're just getting kind of run over. I actually think that maybe with either like a 4 Bruiser or like a 4 Bastion frontline or something like that, this could work out. That would probably require like 1 emblem at least, but maybe this is something, maybe this is a cook that could become meta in the future. We'll see. We're up against this Zeri board again. It looks like they hit pretty much everything. They still are only Viego 1, but now our frontline is just getting run over now, and that seals it. So our player, Just Nobody, has gone 4th after all of that. Honestly, the board was reasonable. I don't think anything was like too crazy there. If I had to guess their rank just based off of their gameplay alone, they played like really greedy. They played like some units that I feel like are not very meta, and I wouldn't personally play. I mean, but like looking at the rest of this lobby, like we're seeing like some pretty meta builds. Like this guy who got the emblem cash out is actually playing like some pretty crazy stuff, but doesn't seem to know that maybe like Renekton would be better with the rapid fire. So there's definitely a bit of like game knowledge missing here. All right. I think my guess, it has to be definitely like somewhere between, they're at least like gold, I would say, maybe even at least like platinum. They could be emerald. Oh man, this is a tough call. You know what? I'm gonna say that Just Nobody ended last season at Emerald 4. So let's look it up. Just Nobody. Pull them up. Currently Gold 4 in Season 14. Set 13. Plat 3. You know what? That's not too far off. I honestly think they probably could have hit Emerald if they played some more games last season. But this is reasonable. It seems like they're a pretty consistent plat player. Maybe just cook a little bit too much in their games. If they focused a little bit more on fundamentals, I'm sure they could push, Emerald, Diamond. They definitely like know how to build items, know how to build a team, so it's interesting. If you like the content, please do like and subscribe. It really helps a ton. And if not, get out of here after you leave some feedback in the comments. And if you want to submit your own game, all you have to do is send me over a YouTube link with a description of your game and whatever else you want to tell me about it in there, except your rank, to breakingtft@gmail.com. And if you're watching around the time that this video came out, I'm streaming over at twitch.tv/breaktherank and would love to have you come hang out and chill while I climb. And until next time, BTR out.